So I genuinely have no idea what the heck is going on with Deadmount Deathplay. It's really good, I'm liking it, but I am so freaking lost, okay? So, episode 1, we see this epic fight between the hero and the villain, and when the hero finally defeats the villain, the corpse god, he gets reincarnated or sent to another world because the corpse god used this magical activation skill, and the hero wakes up as this guy who was just murdered, so now he's alive, but he's not, obviously the same person. He's, the reincarnated hero. And then we have this crazy assassin girl who just, absolutely psycho, Misaki, who is the person who killed the guy who the hero reincarnated as. So she's back to end his life again because she's like, okay, I killed you. How the heck are you back to life? But I gotta do my job because apparently she's like kind of a hitman. Her job is to RIP some people. MC runs away and ends up killing her because he uses magic from his world. He still has magic. But we come to find out that the hero is not the one who gets reincarnated. No, it's the freaking villain. It's the corpse god. And I'm like, holy moly, after episode 1. What happened? Like, what? It's a reverse isekai where the villain is the main character? So I'm thinking, like, we're gonna see something like Overlord, except that the villain is in the real world, and he's just gonna rain havoc like crazy. And then episode 2 happens, which did confuse me a lot more, especially when it comes to Misaki, because in the OP, I don't think they showed the OP in episode 1, maybe they did, but we see Misaki in the OP, so I'm like, okay, well, she's dead, and they're showing a bunch of scenes with her in the OP, like, I don't really know what's going on. Does she come back to life or something like that? Or is it kind of like Jujutsu Kaisen with that one guy, and they bamboozled us? I thought they were literally just screwing with us, like, Jujutsu Kaisen here. But no, she gets reborn, I think was the term that he used, because he brought her back to life, and now she's like, alive, but she isn't. She's like this zombie, but she comes back to life, and that makes a lot more sense now. And it turns out the corpse god, the villain, like I was saying, is actually not as evil as I originally thought. Or, well, that's led to believe, because in the first episode, we see the hero fighting corpse god, who is the villain, which, okay, I mean, who's going to think that the corpse god is actually not a bad dude when the hero is fighting him? And then we get corpse god's backstory, which made me kind of feel bad for the dude a little bit, not gonna lie, because it turned out, he wasn't just some sinister, evil son of a gun like I thought was, and thought he was going to be an absolute menace, terrorizing, I guess, real world, I guess you could say, or Japan. But nope, all he wanted was some peace and quiet, but nope, he had a crappy life, because his parents, I believe, sold him at, like, a young age, because he has this cursed eye. I forget what the ability is called. I think it's something like cursed eye. So they basically got rid of him, and then he just ends up being alone and goes to this cave where these children were also living there and playing. So he gave them some food, and then he kind of takes care of these kids, grows up with him, and living a happy, peaceful life until, I think, like, the army or something like that came to the cave and just absolutely murdered everyone who he cares about. And that's when he's like, okay, yeah, time for revenge, because you guys just literally ruined my life. You guys just ruined every part of happiness that I had. So he takes revenge, kills off everyone, and then kind of exists for a while until the hero shows up and defeats the corpse god. So is he really this evil villain who's like sinister and going to like take over the world, which I thought he was going to be like? No, not really. At least in my opinion from seeing and watching his backstory. And by the end of episode 2, I just have no idea where the narrative and where the plot is going. Is he going to be like some hero? Because he does end up saving these kids from a burning building because he experienced a bunch of his friends RIPing. And then he talks about peace with the organization Misaki is from, which I am confused about them too, because they hire Misaki, who is obviously some, psychotic girl who's like murdering people, but at the same time, the leader of that group talks to Corpse God about his goal and how he wants peace, and she's acting like she can kind of help him achieve that dream. So it's like, is this organization evil? Is this organization good? Like, what the heck is even going on? And maybe I'm just too stupid to understand this, but I mean, if you have some crazy psychotic killer like Misaki, I'm not hating on her or anything, but you can't really be the most sane organization. So, I mean, either way, man, I really enjoyed Deadmount Deathplay. I am 100% invested in this series now, because honestly, I thought it was just badass how it was. The villain gets reincarnated, but now it's not even so much of like, oh, I just want to see Corpse God be an absolute absolute menace, which I think he will be, but more like, where the heck is this going? I have no idea what the heck is going to happen at this point. So overall, like a 7.5 for episode 2. Not bad by any means. I enjoyed it. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like and consider subscribing, I would really appreciate that. Hope you all have a fantastic day, night, evening, morning, whatever the hell time it is for you, and I'll see you guys next time.